on my social media, a lot of people said, oh, you're just a visa vagina. You're just a sex tourist. No, I'm not a sex tourist. I sometimes feel a bit gutted that Abraham hasn't got anything for me. Lee says one thing he can give me, which is priceless. Oh, that is nice.
You might be hiding something, because you're hiding something.
You want to say anything?
I don't think so, darling.
You don't think so? I think so, darling.
I told you something that's important to me, 6 wives, like, what the fuck?
You will be my first?
Yeah, first and last. You're just overreacting now.
No. Bye. God, glad that's over. Not looking forward to that.
I'm not ready to be a stepdad. The idea actually makes me feel a little bit sick.
All I've really bought him is a mattress. I gave him £200 and then he was struggling a bit. So last week I sent him 500. But he has asked me for 3,000 because he wants to get a bush taxi.
A what?
90 Day Fiancé UK is back, reminding us all that some vacation flings should be left as such. Have the fling and go home, y'all, but no. It is a reminder that we are rarely an exception, and if it looks like a scammer, walks like a scammer, talks like a scammer, it's a scammer. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiancé UK. I believe it's season 4. I thought I was gonna go in and watch the first episode. No, they dropped 3 on us, so there's a lot to catch up on. So far we've seen like 4 couples. I'm gonna go in on 2 of them, and then the other 2 I'm gonna give you a snapshot because quite honestly, they're a little on the triggering side. Triggering in like they make me so mad that I can't sit and watch and like talk about it in depth because then this is no longer fun. You know what I mean? And I'm particularly talking about Mete&Shannon. We know this situation all too well. And then of course, Phin&Sandra. I will let you know what's going on with them just so that you're in the know. But I want to start with Zena and Ebrima. She calls him Abraham, but he says Ebrima, so I may go back and forth with how I call him. But before we get into them, as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're new here, I post recaps on the 90 Day universe, as well as some Netflix shows like Love is Blind. And of course, I like to dabble in a little 90 Day UK. So if that is your thing, make sure to hit subscribe. Y'all, Zena and Ebrima. First of all, it is textbook 90 Day chaos. Zena is a 65-year-old and Ebrima is 44. And just by optics, you already know what this is. You already know what this is. So when we meet Zena, she is a party girl, okay? Age is nothing but a number. She's having a couple of pints. She's having a good time. You could see that she is young in spirit. She lets us know right off the bat she doesn't like men her age. She goes on vacation a lot. And when she visited Africa, I forget if she actually went to Gambia or if she went somewhere else, but she met Ebrima. Ebrima is from Gambia. And right off the bat, when she said that she went to Africa and met him and they had, a few moments, I was like, girl, you are a sex tourist. Clearly. And she says it. She's like, I know what people say. They call me a visa vagina. I'm not a visa vagina. We're in love. And the thing about Zena is that she's not an Angela Deem, right? Like, when you see Angela, you immediately want to hate her. With Zena, you want to hate her, but she comes off so kind. And as we hear her story, she comes off more gullible. And you just feel bad for her. But girl, the warning signs are there. No one in her life is feeding into this delusion. We see her with her mom. Her mom is like, I'm not really sure that you even love him. He certainly doesn't love you. We see her with her daughter and her grandchild, and they're like, ma'am, like, this sounds like you're getting scammed. And she tells them, no, I'm not getting scammed. He's never asked me for money. I've just bought him, a mattress, an iPhone, and, send him like some money for groceries, but he never asks me for money. And we learned that she is downplaying this by a lot. But before we know what we know, when we just hear that she just got him an iPhone to communicate with her and a mattress, I'm like, you know what? A lot of these relationships are transactional. She's getting something, sure, why not give him something? And I would say the same thing if it was a man and a woman, vice versa, you know? But I had a hunch that she was lying about how much she gives because she was like, yeah, you know, I'm a generous person. And when people start saying that they are generous, like, let's just wrap this up. Be honest about what you actually sent. And just overall, I think that we're learning a lot about Zena. She has chosen to live in a retirement home, but she's the youngest person there. And it's just so interesting because I would have never seen her in a living situation like that, given that she loves to party a lot. And I think that her party persona is definitely going to be clashing with Ebrima because we see them on FaceTime and he's Muslim and he doesn't drink and he doesn't want her to drink. And she's like, yeah, you know, I've been thinking about stopping. The camera pans to a whole cart of alcohol. I'm like, she's not going to throw that away. So she's already lying to keep up with this fantasy. And then in this call, we learn that she's also lying about the fact that he's never asked for money. Because he so casually was like, oh yeah, I forgot to ask you, I need 3,000 pounds to start a taxi business. You got that, right? And she's like, no, that's a lot of money. Like, I'm not made of money. And she's retired, so she's probably living off of fixed income. She's like, I don't have it like that. I may look like I have it like that, but I don't. And he's like, oh, it's just, you know, really important. It's business. It's a loan. And she's really considering taking out a special loan to give this to him in the hopes that he will pay her back. She has said that he makes no money. He lives with his family. He barely gets by. She has this like savior complex where she's like, oh, I really want to help him. Ma'am, 3,000 pounds is a lot. You're never getting that back if you give it to him. And I feel bad because you could tell that her heart is in the right place. We see her with one of her friends. She's buying a bunch of children's clothes, like a whole luggage worth of clothes for all of his nieces and nephews. And her friend plants the seed of like, you sure that's not his kids? Like, and she's like, no, he doesn't have kids and they can't afford it. We see Ebrima, you know, his element. And he works at a hotel. I think I forgot to mention that, which is like, again, textbook bad situation. He works at a hotel and he particularly went after Zena because he's like, I saw that she was being nice to everyone and I thought I should get with her. And he is all smiles when he talks about her. And when we see him go to his village with his family, they are also all smiles because they're like, oh, she sends so much money. We never have to buy clothes. She's provided brick for our house. And so again, painting a clear picture that she has downplayed to her family, to her friends, just how much she has contributed. And I don't know if I should look too into this, but even the way that they're talking about Zena, they're like laughing through the conversation. And I don't know if it's just, you know, the way that they express themselves. But they're all doing it in his family. So I'm like, is she the butt of the joke? And I don't know if it's his sister, but she's like, we don't just love her because she gives us money. I think that if she stopped giving you money, you would all of a sudden realize all of the things that you don't like about her. Like the fact that she's an older lady. Like the fact that she doesn't live there. Like the fact that she can't give him kids. I think that all of those things would be bright and in their faces if the money wasn't covering it. And it's honestly like watching a car crash because everyone in her life is warning her. Again, like I said, no one is blindly supporting her. They're like, hey, you know, like this seems sketch. Like you could be one of 4 people that he has just on payroll, you know? And she's like, no, even though I did send 500 pounds last week, and even though he did ask me for 3,000, and they're like, and to the last moment, honey, she is packing. Her granddaughter's like, Nana, please think this over. He could be having a bunch of ladies just, you know, on his socials. And she's like, oh, he doesn't have social media. But then again, I haven't checked. Her granddaughter finds his Facebook in like 2 seconds. And she's like, he told me that he didn't have socials. And honey, this is a conservative man, right? But his friend list, they look like people that are on OF. And this is like right in their profile picture. He's accepted it. So somebody's lying. And so we see her arrive to meet him. She's wearing this colorful outfit, honey. It is tacky as fuck. She is like trying to be nice, but in the back of her mind, this is very present. And she's like, I want to have a good night before I dig, okay? And she's saying she's trying to be nice, but she's being really pissy. She gets to the hotel. It's not a 5-star luxe hotel, you know? She's complaining about everything. She starts opening her luggage, giving him gifts, showing him the gifts that she got for his family. And she's looking at him clearly for like the first time. And she's like, it doesn't feel good that he never has a gift for me. And she's like, but you know what? I know how he can repay me. And she's like, let's go to the shower. She's never going to beat the visa vagina allegations with that. And so we hear little sound effects from the shower, and then we see them the next day. He makes her crappy tea, according to her, which sets her off. And she grabs her phone, and she's like, Abraham, I'm going to ask you again. Do you or do you not have social media? And he's like, oh, I had it before, and then I deleted it, which I knew he would pull. But she's like, but you didn't delete it. Because look, you have an account. And this man starts laughing in her face. Laughing. And she's like, not only do you have an account, it says single. And he's like, oh, it's a joke. It's a joke. That's not funny. She's like, am I a joke to you? And on top of that, I sent you a friend request and you didn't accept it, but you accept everybody else. And he's cracking up. And she's so pissed that she just walks to the bathroom. And he's calling for her and she just won't come out. She's like, fuck off. So, yeah. It is going to be a hilarious but painful season for her. Because to us, I think that it is clear as day. You are getting squeezed out of every pound that he can get. The next couple that I want to talk about, though, is Shorna and Adnand. Again, another age difference. She's 45, he's 25. And when you look at her, honey, she's a hottie. Is a single mama. Her and her daughter are practically sisters, which is always like a catch-22, you know, because it's just like a difficult dynamic with that. And you could see it. But Shorna met Adnand in Greece. She was on holiday. He was working at the hotel. Again, just textbook doomed relationship. They're always part of the entertainment team at the hotel, always. And I think what's most chaotic for me about this couple is that they've only met once, okay? She meets this young Albanian guy in Greece. They hit it off. It is hot and heavy, and they have a good time for a few days. And I don't have a problem with that. Have your fun on holiday. But when you've only met once, you have this moment, then you don't see each other for another year. To think that that person is not going to be dabbling in other people is crazy. Even her own daughter tells her to her face, you are being delusional, and quite honestly, you're being a sugar mama. And her daughter also says, I don't trust it. I mean, he could be hiding something. You definitely are. And we learn that in this year that they have not seen each other, Shorna has converted and is now a Mormon. And this has made her evaluate her lifestyle, so she's not a party girl anymore. And that also means that she cannot be intimate with someone until she's married. And if you recall, they've only met once, and the fun, intimate, affectionate, all of the things was literally part of their foundation. So he's back in Greece, his mouth watering, just counting down the days for his Shorna to come so they can have a lot of fun, have a lot of kisses. And meanwhile, she's like, he has no idea. And she's had a year to tell him. And she's like, I just know that he's not going to take it well, but I'd rather tell him in person. Shorna, I can tell you, girl, that you are wasting both his and your time. And again, this is a situation like Zena that everyone is telling her, this isn't going to work. And you're also a liar, so have fun with that. And when we meet Adnand, he's a 25-year-old. He likes to party. He likes to have a good time. He's talking to his friend about, you know, how he's excited and looking forward to living in the UK, that he's excited to ride the bus. He's excited to have Nando's, which I went to the UK once and I loved Nando's. Can't wait to try it again. But anyway, he's counting all the things that he's excited to explore. And then he's like, oh yeah, but also to be with my love, Shorna. If that's not shady, I don't know what is. So he's here talking to his friend about all the things that he wants to do with her, that he cannot wait, that he's been thinking about spending nights with her. And she's just like, I know that it's going to be really hard on him because he's so romantic, but I hope that he accepts it because really my desire is for him to also become a Mormon. Can you imagine not seeing someone for a year and they come back and they're like, hey, I can't touch you. We could only hold hands. And also, I need you to believe in this religion for me. Like, are you well? And when I tell you that things crash and burn immediately, she arrives to Greece. And remember, they can't kiss either. But she hasn't told him this. So he's going in to give a longing embrace to his girlfriend that he's been waiting to see for a year. He tries to kiss her. She dodges him a few times. It is awkward. And he feels it immediately. He's like, she feels a little cold. She feels a little distant. Like, that's weird. I thought that she would be more excited to see me after a year. They get to the room. It's this massive room with a massive private pool. It's obvious that, like, he had a vision for this holiday. And she's like, ooh, I need to really tell him stat because I don't know how long I'm going to get away with this. And she's so right because he's looking at her like she's the juiciest piece of meat. She's about to burst that bubble. So they go to the beach and she's like, yeah, so the reason I'm, can't be as affectionate, if you noticed, is because I'm a Mormon now. That happened during the year that we didn't see each other. And he is listening and he takes a beat and he's like, this is a joke, right? Like, you're kidding, right? And she's like, no, like, it's real. And he's like, okay, well, I changed my religion too, and now I can have 6 wives, and you're the first. And he's like trying to make jokes about it because he's like, how are you just throwing this on me? And she gets so upset, like, how dare he not take me seriously? This tells me so much about him. And I'm like, Shorna, you literally lied. You've been lying for a year. You've been omitting this huge part of yourself. You've had so many opportunities to tell him. He's allowed to react the way that he's going to react. You can't be mad because he's mad when you're the one that dropped this huge piece of information. Also because I don't know if you guys have been in long distance relationships, but when you're on those long calls, it's so easy to like reminisce about the things that you've done, to count down the days, to be like, oh, I can't wait to do this and this with you. He seems like the guy that would be like, I can't wait to do this to you. You're telling me that in those moments she couldn't be like, babe, about that? So her being upset is ridiculous to me. And you could tell that she just really wants them to get past this. And she's like, so are you going to be able to get over it? And he's like, well, I need a few days to think about it. She's like, a few days? This is huge. He's a 25-year-old. He's probably horny AF. You're telling him that he's been waiting. Well, I doubt that he's been waiting for her for a year. He's been entertaining her for a year. And she's going to be like, And we see them the next day try to talk about it. And he tells her, I feel deceived by you. And she's like, deceived? If anything, I feel like I'm deceived by you because you're willing to throw this away because I'm not going to be intimate with you. And sure, like that's part of it. But a huge part of it is that you didn't give him an opportunity to like stew on it and decide if this is something he wants to do. You just showed up with that information. And again, every time he reacts, she ends up like storming off and being pissy about it. So the next day, she's like, I want to prove to him that we can have fun and it doesn't have to be sexual. And she takes him mountain bike riding. And he's like, this is fun, but this isn't greater than sex. And he tells her to her face, yeah, you know what? We'll be together. Like, love is greater than sex. But he's dead behind the eyes. And I know for a fact that the minute this woman leaves, he's breaking up with her. I think that Adnan doesn't want to break up with her while she's there because he doesn't want to deal with the fallout in person. But this is not going to work for him. She's already being like, oh, so are we going to be together? Yes or no? So I can, figure out my flight for October. And he's like, yeah, sure. Like, happy wife, happy life. Let me not get cursed out in person. Let me just break up with her and hang up. I see right through it. I'm calling it right now, you guys. And that's it for them in the first 3 episodes. I'm gonna just touch really quick. Phin&Sandra. Phin is a peculiar fella, okay? And he and Sandra have been dating for 2 years. She's from Brazil. But they met 17 years ago. His sister was volunteering at an orphanage where Sandra lived. And he met her. They were like pen pals for a sec. Then they lost touch. 2 years ago, she reached out to him. And ever since, they've been together. He hasn't met her kids and her family. And now at the 2-year mark, it's clear that Sandra has expectations of moving the relationship further. Long distance isn't cutting it. But she has 2 kids. And this man, at first, I'm like, oh my God, really buying their love story? But he gave me the ick immediately with the way that he talks about her kids. He refers to them as annoying. He doesn't want to be a stepfather. And my thing is, these kids are pretty like on the older side. They're not toddlers. So they were already part of the picture when you started dating her. They have always been part of the package. They have never been up for negotiation. So the fact that he has this stank attitude about her kids is really upsetting, which is why I'm not sure that I'll be able to like fully recap them, because I'm not going to have nice things to say about an individual like Phin. He's giving evil stepdad vibes. Like when he met them, he couldn't wait for them to go to bed. Like they're like a nuisance to him. And that's not going to work. Just in general, the way that he talks about the relationship, it's like he's being forced to have to deal with them. And no, it's going to be a no for me. The other one that I'm like, ooh, wow, like this is textbook abusive, toxic relationship is Mete&Shannon. He is proudly being like, yeah, I'm a jealous man. I'm jealous about everything. And it will always perplex me how small men go after baddies and then act surprised when people are looking at their baddies. And Shannon, I don't know what issues she has that she's accepting this kind of love when she deserves so much better. And I think because he's toxic, she is equally toxic, and that he doesn't want her around guys. So she's like, okay, well, you can't be an entertainer and you can't be around women. And so their relationship is very tit for tat. But the issue is that she has a very close guy best friend, and she is being pulled in all types of directions. And the way that Mete talks to her, like he is like, darling, why don't you answer the phone, darling? Darling, why are you around men? You know I don't like that, darling. Like he talks like that, very passive aggressively. And I would have mopped the floor with him already. Figuratively, of course. But he's another one that's just too triggering for me to stomach. And I think there's still like 3 more couples that they haven't shown us yet. So I'm going to decide episode by episode who to talk about, but it definitely looks like a juicy season. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.